Amy how Amy spent more than a decade of time in the re-education camp because of the Cultural Revolution under Chairman Mao in China. So, Amy, what are you going to bring us today?
Yeah, today I'm going to talk about the ration. Ration, food ration. And Billy and Nan, do you know which country still use the ration in this moment?
No idea.
Only one country, Cuba.
Oh.
2019, and I'll visit Cuba. They still use ration and those stamps for the basic food. Also use two different currency. It's like before in China, because they have a lot of American money go into. So use American money, there's special store. Use that money, you can buy meat and good stuff.
So
and,
just like olden day China.
Yeah, China have a two currency. So the Cuban currency, they only can ration, only pay that, like those stamps you buy, bean, rice, basic stuff. So I talking about, I live in China for 30 years, and basically all in this ration, food ration and environment. So those things is probably right now, after 30 years, lots of people in China, they don't know anything about that, young generations, but they never use that. But before we will grow up, just everything. It's really not much, like a 35-pound rice per person. They give you the stamps.
No, no. Wait a minute. You still need to use the money, but that is just the quota.
Yeah.
That's how much rice you can buy. You still have to use the money to buy it.
One family, 1 pound of egg per family per month.
Wow.
Yeah, and the meat is by ounce, and that like 3 ounce per person per month.
You can
oil too,
right.
Everything.
Right.
Everything by
I remember those days.
Remember?
Yeah, I remember. Well, by the way, you can go sell those coupons in the black market. If you don't consume them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's how I want to talk about the story. It's my personal story. Actually, another sad story. I have the godparents. I don't know here. Translate to English, basically probably talking about like a religion guidance on it. But in China, very common, basically like a mentorship. Mm-hmm. You have my parents would choose a couple as my godparents, and to responsible for my upbringings. Usually like setting up as a mentorship. So my godparents, the godfather is a doctor and a very good surgeon. He was a graduate from the American school at Zhenjiang University in Shanghai. And his wife is a nurse. Also is very, very nice woman. They both are Christian. So they are my godparents. But during the Cultural Revolution, I already left in 1969, and they were suffering. They being criticized and then accused my godfather is American spy, because he in the X-ray hole, the room, and he spoke, used a medical term. He used an English term, talked to his co-workers, as a doctors. So they accused him of doing some spy work. And I then put him in the place and basically starving him to death, And my godmother, she's such a nice woman, and she's nice to everybody. Everybody, if have a newborn baby, she always go there helping, then teach the new parents how to bathing the baby, everything. Very nice woman. And so they said that they're going to criticize her. And she's a very proud woman also. Just, I think the dignity, is the most important for her. So, and that night, the night before, they're going to have the bigger meeting to criticize her, and she commits suicide, hang herself. So before she did that, I was in commute, so I mean the labor camp. She knew I constantly had no food, so she saved those ration, the food stamps, the rice stamps. Each month is just 1 or 2 pounds, and so she put it together a bundle. So the night before she hanged herself, she threw that bundle of the ration and coupons and in back of my mother's dresser, because she knew my mother constantly clean. Well, at least every month we cleaned, and we found out. So yeah, later my mother found, and then when I got to visit in Shanghai first time back home, and she passed away. I mean, commit suicide. I was very sad. So my mother say after that, and she found out this bundle of the food stamps, and give it to me. I think it's probably 35 pounds. Yeah, so it's how many months, she saved. So I was a treasure that I got up. I'm very sad, but I got back to the labor camp and I saved it. I didn't even want to use, because only in the counting they have a little counting run the restaurants selling those rice noodle. So like 2 ounce you can use the coupon, and for 2 bowl of noodle soup, like that. That's the only place you can use. Otherwise, you can then, just like you said, you can sell in the black market.
Yep.
And so 1974. So I think previously I told about my story. I was supposed to go back to Shanghai and the Science and Technology Institute. They accept me, but because my father, the problem, so they did kick me out. So that the Yunnan province, the engineering school, accept me. So I'm prepared to leave. So that day I went to the county. You had to do some kind of paperwork. So I had in the restaurant the rice noodle, because I have some coupons. I still have it, and in my pocket. So I met one guy, and he used to be we are the same household, and then eventually, probably 2 years earlier, and she went to another county, which was on atop the mountain, very poor place, and he got a job, I think, working there as in those general store, selling, and salesperson, and so I met him. He happened to be also in the restaurant, and so we had talking, and then he said that over there, they just constantly hungry, but just not enough of food. And that time you work for the store, so they already have a salary, also already have those kind of coupon, stamps, the food stamps. But he said constantly, that's not enough, because they make him to carry those goods, inventory. You had to do lots of harsh labor, so he was hungry. I said, well, a growing boy, so I'm hungry, right? So before I leave, I think I just found I still have about probably 20 pounds or whatever the stamps left in the bundle. So I said, well, I'm gonna go to the school. I probably don't need it. I go to the capital of the province, so much better than this guy. So I just give it to him. I said, I don't need it. He was so happy, so grateful. And so we just say goodbye. That's it, right? And then about a year later, another person and from my household and coming, and he told me, he said, you know that guy? He said he was being arrested and put in jail. I said, why? And he said that because they accused, what's the accusation? He said, well, they accused him as charging him to selling those food stamps in the black market. Oh, I will feel so bad. I just shocked, because it's me. Because if I don't give it to him, he doesn't have extra to selling. Think about that. So I some kind of feel guilty, I said I didn't think about. See, I saved. It's so sad. My godmother suicide, and before she died, and put this to save my life. And then I think I can make this guy's life better. But the end, because of that, he probably want to trade with something, or he wants some money or whatever. So he being arrested and sent to. So I asked the guy, I said, did you, before you leave the counting, did you go there to another counting to see him? He said, I did, because this is a very nice guy. Now he living in Vancouver. And so he said, I did. I said, how's the situation? He said, it was horrible. He said, not just have a chain in his hand, also the foot,
Wow.
Yeah, and the labor. Over there, the jail over there in those primitive places is really, really bad. It's just they don't treat you as a human. It's like you're the animal, maybe worse than animal, and that kind of situation. And I said, wow. I said, do you know that the coupon, I get the stamps, food stamps, I give it to him.
Wow.
So
you,
yeah, but lots of many years. That's why I say that's the things. I just cannot forget these things because I constantly bring myself. Maybe I shouldn't give it to him.
Well, yeah, but I think we have to look at intent. Your intention was to help him, with an extra ration.
well,
Yeah.
only by that guy's intent, under that kind of living condition, people just try to make wherever they can make to help their own families. I mean, it's really the system that push everyone,
to make bad decisions.
Right, to make the bad decisions, to push everyone to become criminals. But it's not really crime against anybody.
Yeah.
Right? It's because the law was made by the regime, and they push everyone, through the edge, leaving at the edge. But while they punish you if you go over. So this is it's the problem of the political system. It's the problem of the communist regime. They treat people in the way without any humanity, while they also put all these ridiculous laws that you can do this, you cannot do that, and if and everybody is living under such a harsh condition, and when they try to help their family, make it feel extra bucks.
In bottom of the food chain.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
why when the labor camp, for me, if I still in Shanghai, probably never would know, how harsh life people live. And so that's it. But many years later in Shanghai, I met him again. And actually turned to be, is not a very sad ending. Turned to be the good ending. I was surprised. It's got like a miracle. Because the jailer, the one manager then, and have a daughter. And this little girl to visiting, and he has no family there. Nobody will visiting him. So this little girl, just minority girl, one minority, and she was very sympathized this guy. He said, how can nobody visit him like a Chinese New Year or something? So she always brought something, some food, and her mom made for father and extra for this guy. And then one day he told her father, he said, I want to marry him. So father was shocked. He said, he's criminal. You cannot do that. But the girl said, no. He said, I think, I want to help him. I want him out. They said, can you helping him? And he said, this guy already there for 10 years.
10 years.
10 years already, yeah.
Just because of
So for
selling
that-
a little coupon
yeah.
for the rice.
Yeah, just changing for the money because you want the money to be something else, right? So anyway, and then they get married. So eventually they back to Shanghai and they open a little noodle shop. rice noodle shop, just like we went there. And because this guy's parents, they live at the house, in the front of a house, you can do something commercial. That time, they had, allow people to do that.
Make a living.
So make a living, yeah. So they're still very poor, but anyway, it's
Better
not,
than prison.
They didn't die there, alone,
Yeah.
They.
Yeah,
So
that's well, that's
it's a miracle to me. I'm
There's an
happy
angel
for
there.
him.
There's an angel there.